Patriots Nation, today the mood in Foxborough is different. There's pressure, expectation, hope, and a playoff vibe in the air. We've got heavy news on defense, a potential blockbuster move in the market, the playoff picture heating up, and, to top it off, an important update on a key piece of the offense coming back. All of this hits directly at the immediate future of the New England Patriots. This season, there's a situation that worries, a decision that excites, and behind-the-scenes noise that can completely change the direction of this campaign. You won't believe what we've got today, so sit down, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. Patriots Nation, let's talk about a situation that goes straight to the heart of this defense. Losing Milton Williams and the weight that puts on Captain Robert Spillane and the entire defensive line. When one of the most beloved guys in the locker room and most dominant players on the field lands on injured reserve, it's not just a name disappearing from the depth chart, it's the identity of the defense being challenged. And that's exactly when we find out who really lives the Patriot way. Milton was simply a monster in the middle of the line, pressuring quarterbacks, blowing up runs in the backfield, changing the way opposing offenses built their game plans. It's no coincidence the defense jumped a level with him next to Christian Barmore, but now that engine is out for a few weeks, and instead of whining, what comes out of Foxborough is a very clear message from Spillane: prepare like a starter. That kind of line isn't empty cliche. Spillane is sending a direct message to Khyiris Tonga, Joshua Farmer, Corey Durden, and any other defensive lineman on this roster. Your shot is coming, and when it comes, you can't look like a preseason body. The standard has already been set. This D-line has been eating double teams all year and turning third down into pure terror for any offense they face. Without Milton, the question is simple and heavy. Can this rotation keep the same level of physicality, discipline, and explosion at the point of attack? Because if the D-line starts losing in the trenches, the rest of the defense pays for it in a domino effect. Spillane knows that, and that's why he takes on even more responsibility to organize the front, get the calls right, demand effort, and above all, keep the confidence level sky high. And this is where I want to hear from you, fan. Do you trust that this line, even without Milton, can maintain the dominant standard that put the Patriots among the best defenses in the league? Or do you think this injury exposed a weakness that could cost them in the next few weeks? Because there's a key detail here. In New England, opportunity is never just about talent, it's about mindset. If Tonga and the rest of the group can hold up against the run and still generate at least some pocket collapse, Spillane and the rest of the front seven can keep this defense playing at an elite pace until Milton comes back. If they can't, the front office is going to be under serious pressure to act in the market. And that conversation about bringing in a big-time reinforcement for the interior of the D-line has already started to heat up behind the scenes in Foxborough. Patriots Nation, if the situation on the defensive line was already hot, now it's basically on fire. Because behind closed doors in Foxborough, one name has started to circulate with real force, and it's not just any player. We're talking about Christian Wilkins, one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the NFL over the last few years, a guy who has already put up a 9-sack season from the interior, and who, even surrounded by controversy, is still an absolutely rare talent. The truth is, Milton Williams' injury opened a hole you simply can't ignore. The original plan was to have Williams and Barmore as the duo that would raise this defense to a new level, but without Milton, the structure loses its balance. And that is exactly where Wilkins fits as an elite piece, able to line up in multiple techniques, dominate gaps, and collapse the pocket without needing extra blitz help. He's the kind of player who changes how an opposing offense builds its protection. And don't think this is just fans dreaming big. Mike Vrabel himself has already admitted publicly that the team will have a conversation about Wilkins' A-line like that doesn't come out by accident. When the head coach opens that door, it's because the debate is already happening inside the building. The question now is different. Is it really worth paying the price, financially, physically, and even emotionally, that comes with a player like Wilkins? Because yes, there's a complicated side. The way things ended with the Raiders was messy. There's a fight over guarantees. There was a serious foot injury. There was a locker room episode that didn't sit well and ended up in HR. That's not a light package. And the Patriots are known for filtering out players who don't fit the culture. But at the same time, Wilkins is from Massachusetts, grew up in the region, has already talked about having love for the Patriots, and has a long-standing connection with Vrabel going back to the pre-draft process. The local hero comes home storyline basically writes itself. From a tactical standpoint, it gets even better. Barmore and Wilkins side by side, That's a straight-up nightmare for offensive coordinators. One wins with explosion, the other with power and technique. Together, they force opposing offensive lines to pick who gets the double team choose wrong, and your quarterback pays the price. But hold that thought, because that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. Patriots Nation, while this possible blockbuster move has everyone on alert, there's another reality we can't ignore. The schedule is turning into a minefield, and the Patriots are officially heading down the stretch as one of the most dangerous teams in the AFC. And that position didn't come for free. It came from an 8-game winning streak, from precise adjustments by Mike Vrabel, and from a team that finally found its identity on both sides of the ball. The win over the Jets pushed New England to 9-2, but even with that spectacular record, the top seed in the conference is far from guaranteed. The Broncos are also 9-2 and hold the tiebreaker because of their record within the AFC. It's that kind of detail that drives you crazy, because it feels like you've done almost everything right, but there's still something missing to truly take control. And with 7 weeks left, every game becomes practically a must-win showdown. The good news? The Patriots have entered a zone they haven't seen since 2021. Absolute confidence. The offense is finally putting real points on the board. The defense is back to being physical and dominant. Special teams are clean and consistent. It feels like a team that's built to play in January. And that's when the question starts to creep in. How far can this group really go? The AFC is pure chaos. The Bills are sitting in that annoying distance, still chasing. The Chargers came back to life at the perfect time. Colts, Steelers, Jaguars, all breathing down your neck. One bad loss and you drop 3 spots. One big win at the right moment and you're right back in the race for the 1 seed that makes every single week feel like a conference championship. And there's more. That tiebreaker over the Bills could become gold at the end of the season. That Week 5 win might be exactly what separates the Patriots from an unwanted wild card slot and a playoff run that goes through Gillette Stadium. And that kind of home field advantage completely changes any franchise's destiny in January. What do you think, fan? Does this team look like a 1 seed to you, or are we about to live through a nerve-wracking sprint all the way to the final week? Because if there's one thing the last few games have made clear, it's that this group doesn't fear pressure. They play better under it. And honestly, it really feels like the best football is still ahead. Patriots Nation, if the playoff picture was already making everyone's heart race, the latest injury update brought exactly the kind of hope that turns into fuel down the stretch. Because while the Patriots are fighting to hold on to a top seed in the AFC, the offense might be about to get reinforcements that change not only the depth chart, but the entire rhythm of the playbook. And when you mix that with the current momentum of this team, the combo is simply explosive. Kayshon Boutte, Ramondre Stevenson, Christian Ellis, Austin Hooper, 4 names, 4 absences that deeply affected the rotation on both offense and defense in recent weeks. Injuries took away speed, stability, and the variety of personnel packages. And even so, this team kept winning. Now imagine that whole group coming back at the same time, right when the most decisive stretch of the schedule begins. Boutte had become a key piece in Vrabel's game plans, especially as a vertical route runner and post-snap threat. The hamstring injury zapped his burst and stalled his rhythm, but the coach has already made it clear he expects the wide receiver back at practice, and if Bout returns with the same pre-injury explosiveness, that opens up the deep part of the field again and forces opposing defenses to respect every blade of grass. Stevenson is a chapter of his own. Even with Tre'Veyon Henderson balling out, especially with that absurd 3-touchdown performance against the Jets, something is missing without Ramondre, that physical factor. That power back who drags tacklers, breaks contact, and turns 3rd and short into almost an automatic conversion. If he really is close to returning, as Vrabel hinted, the Patriots' ground identity becomes complete again. Christian Ellis and Austin Hooper are also more important than people realize. Ellis is vital to the defensive flow, especially in heavier nickel looks. Hooper is that reliable chain mover on critical downs, the guy who doesn't show up in every highlight, but when his number is called, he converts. And when the head coach drops a line like, "I expect them at practice today," that's not just stock coach speak. That's a sign the internal evaluations have been positive. It's the kind of update that lightens the mood in the locker room, boosts the fan base's confidence, and gives the offensive staff even more ways to attack. And while we're all getting hyped over that possibility, the feeling is crystal clear. This team is gearing up for something big. Patriots Nation, after a day full of tension, hope, and that feeling that everything can change at any moment, it's pretty clear this team is building something special. Milton's injury exposed how important the defensive core really is. and how resilient this group can be. The Christian Wilkins rumors brought back big dreams and big debates. The playoff race reminded everybody that nothing is guaranteed, but everything is still on the table. And the possible returns of Booty, Stevenson, and company just prove this roster still has plenty of gas left in the tank. Now it's on you. Does this group have what it takes to own December? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with us on this ride all the way toward January.